Hello, this is your host from the channel. Today, I'm reading The Forest Takes Memories by Jennifer Hill. This was published in 2021. It's part of a series, but each book can be read as a standalone. And I requested this from the publisher because I've been seeing it around a lot lately. And I am very glad that I did. This is about a woman who is grieving the loss of her child, and she goes to a remote cabin for some time alone and some peace. But there's a mystery there, and things from the past start to come back to haunt her. So let's get into the video. This starts with Margot waking up in the middle of the night to the sound of screaming. Her son, Sam, is crying, and she's trying to soothe him. She gets out of bed to go to his room, but he's not there. He isn't in any of the usual spots that he likes to hide. And then she finds him at the bottom of the stairs, and he just stared at her blankly. And he died right in front of her. This is obviously devastating for Margot. She feels guilty, like maybe she wasn't doing enough as a mom. She thinks that maybe she was too hard on him. She's questioning herself. And her husband, Mark, is blaming himself. Like he should have been the one who went down the stairs, not her. He's taking all of his frustrations out on her. So, they decide that the best thing for her would be to go away for a while. She goes to stay at her friend's cabin. This is secluded. It's hours away from people. And when she gets there, she hopes that the peace and quiet will allow her to grieve without having to hear everyone tiptoeing around her. There are 3 things that she has to do while she's staying here. She has to take care of her dog, Waffles. There's a vegetable garden that she needs to weed, and she has to pick up the space. And she's thinking about how she used to feel so refreshed after being here, how it was her happy place. But now there's this cloud hanging over her head. She doesn't want to be here. She wishes she could just go home. While she's staying at the cabin though, strange things happen. There are power outages, and when the power comes back on, there are items plugged into the outlets that aren't hers. She also keeps hearing these whispers at night, and they seem to be coming from outside the cabin. So she calls her friend to ask if she knows anything about this, and her friend tells her no. She hasn't been there in months, and she says that it's not normal for anyone to be in the area. There's nothing around there, so why would somebody be spying on her? This makes Margot paranoid, and she spends most of her days hiding inside the cabin. She starts to see strange things out of the window. She sees what looks like a woman in Victorian nightgown. She tries to convince herself that it was just the wind, but this happens more than once. She does eventually go to the town nearby to stock up on groceries, and she meets this guy named Will while she's there. He seems nice, and he offers to help her carry her groceries out to her car, and then he asks her if she wants company while she's at the cabin because it can get lonely, and he offers to bring her back some firewood. She declines, but she does accept when he asks if he can walk her back to the cabin. While they're walking, they talk about their kids, and he mentions that he has 2 sons and a daughter, and that they've all grown up. Then she hears a scream in the forest. She thinks that it might have come from Will's house, and he tells her that he'll check it out. He runs off, and then she hears a gunshot. She's standing there with all of these groceries when Will comes back out. He tells her that everything's okay, but she noticed that he had blood on his clothes. When she confronts him about this, he admits that he shot a deer, and he invites her over for dinner. She declines, and she goes back to the cabin. When she gets home, she notices that there are new items in her fridge, mostly food for a young child. She throws most of it out, but she decides to keep some chicken nuggets, and she eats those. Well, later that night, she wakes up and she finds Waffles dead in her bed. There's blood everywhere, and she goes to the bathroom to look in the mirror, and she sees that her gums are bleeding and her mouth is full of blood. She called 911, and she told them to send an ambulance. But she didn't tell them where she was. She was trying to make it to the hospital, but she couldn't drive on these winding roads in the dark, and she ended up passing out on the side of the road. When she wakes up, she's in a hospital and she's hooked up to an IV. She's looking for answers, but no one's telling her anything. And then Mark shows up. He's angry that she didn't call him. She finally tells him where she was, and he drives her back home. But when they get to the cabin, they find a group of investigators waiting for them. They're asking questions about what happened. They think that Margot killed Waffles. So Mark and Margot leave and they go back home. But Margot is still sick. She's still feeling very ill, so she goes to her own parents' house. While she's staying there, she gets a call from the police. They're asking if she knows anything about a missing person from 30 years ago. It turns out that Will's daughter disappeared when she was only 4 years old. And the police think that Margot might know something about what happened to her. Flashbacks then take us back to 1992. And we see a young Margot living in the same cabin with her boyfriend, Denny. She has a 4-year-old daughter named Lily, and Denny is her rock. He's helping her through a divorce. One day, Denny is getting ready to head out, but he promises to be back soon. He gives Lily a teddy bear and tells her that it came from a friend. Then he leaves. Later that day, the power goes out and Margot is trying to calm Lily down. She can hear screaming in the forest and she opens the door to investigate, but she sees nothing. After the power goes out, Lily disappears. Margot searched everywhere for her and she even checked on Denny, but he wasn't there either. And neither of them ever came home again. Back in the present, Margot is worried. She knows that she has to go back to the cabin, but she's scared. Mark won't go with her. He's had enough of this. He's tired of her dragging him into whatever mess she's involved in this time. So he tells her to go with Will. He knows that Will is going to the cabin to clean it out because Margot has decided to sell it. He tells her that Will will protect her and he leaves. Margot does go back to the cabin with Will and she finds her diary from 1992. As she's reading it, she learns about her strange occurrences that she experienced before Lily's disappearance. Now that she knows that other people are involved, she's afraid to stay there. She wants to leave, but Will stops her. He tells her that she can't go anywhere. She has to listen to him. He takes her to the basement and he locks her in. He admits that he killed her daughter and he offers to let her join them. He tells her that he has taken care of the property since 1992 and that he has taken care of the animals. He fed Waffles poison and he planned to kill Margot by making it look like she had a heart attack. But he changed his mind last minute and he put her in the hospital. As he's talking to her though, another woman comes into the basement and she reveals herself as Denny. She had a hand in raising Lily and she took care of her until Will killed her. She wanted to kill Margot, but she's glad that Will got to her first. Margot fights back and she knocks Will over the head. She runs off and she hides in the woods. Then she sees a light and she runs towards it. She finds a patrol car and she flags it down. She finally feels like she's free, like she can move on from all of this, but she's wrong. In the final scene, we see that Will and Denny are sitting together, and they're waiting for Margot to come back. They know that she didn't really leave. She gave them the slip, but she's still around and they plan to make her suffer like they made Lily suffer. They plan to keep her here forever. And that's the end of the story. Okay? So I thought that this was good. I think that Jennifer Hillier is a great writer. I love her writing style. I just wish that this plot had been executed a little bit differently, because it was very predictable. Like I guessed who the killer was very early on. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I think the identity of the killer, and then the reveal that they were the caretaker of the property for the past 30 years was a little ridiculous. I feel like that was a wasted opportunity. I feel like if they had chosen somebody else as the killer and done some things a little bit differently, it would have been a much better book. But overall, I liked it. I definitely recommend it. I Am Gone, now rate this one 3 out of 5. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up button below. You can follow me on social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye.